What's up YouTube, Capital G here, checking out a brand new incredible dragon monster that just got revealed coming out of Soul Fusion. I hope I'm not overselling this card, but I really believe that this is going to be one of the best monsters in the entire set. I've looked at this card from so many different angles, and as soon as they revealed it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is an amazing card. I feel like it should have been a cover card of a booster set. It's that good. Anyways, this is Livonia, the Primordial Chaos Dragon, which I heard that name and I was like, okay, let's go. We're bringing back Chaos Dragons. Obviously, the Red Eyes Link monster didn't really deliver on what I thought it was going to do, so hopefully this can kind of make up for it. Spoiler alert, it absolutely does. This card is just ridiculous. So, it's a level 8 Dart Dragon effect monster. It has 3000 attack and 0 defense, which is really good because it is a Melody of the Awakening Dragon target, so that means that you can search it if you're playing a deck like Blue Eyes White Dragon. It says that it must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 3 light and or dark monsters from your graveyard. You can use the first effect as the hard once per turn. That first effect is when this card is special summoned by the above method. You can activate this effect. This card cannot attack this turn. Also apply one of these effects depending on the attribute of the monsters banished to special summon this card. So if you only banish light monsters, you can special summon 1 monster from your graveyard in defense position. Obviously, that's really good. Unfortunately, no link monsters. If you only banish dark monsters, randomly shuffle 1 card from your opponent's hand into the deck. And if you actually banish light and dark monsters, like a combination of the two, then you can destroy up to 2 cards on the field. Now, this is why this card is absolutely fantastic. First off, the makeup of this card is really good. It has a colossal attack, 3000. It's level 8. It actually has a lot of just natural synergy with a deck like Blue Eyes White Dragon, which was actually one of the first decks that I thought about. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. So you're telling me that this dragon is level 8, Blue Eyes already runs Trade-In, so that is pretty much a card you're going to be able to use this with. You're telling me it's also a Melody of the Awakening Dragon target. That's also good because Blue Eyes runs that. The fact that it's level 8 means that you can still go for your rank 8 plays as you would with Alternative Dragon and your regular Blue Eyes. So the makeup of this card is really good, but then you look at the summoning conditions and oh my goodness, this is amazing. You know what this card kind of feels like? It kind of feels like if they were going to make one of the new, chaos monsters like BLS, one of the new envoys, like this is kind of what that monster would be, because it seems like it's pretty easy. What I like about this card is you don't even have to banish a combination of light and dark. You could even play this in a deck like Lightsworn where you have no dark monsters in your entire deck and you still would be able to summon this relatively easily, just banishing 3 monsters, and you'd still get a quick Monster Reborn effect, which is actually pretty good. I look at all 3 of the effects, they're absolutely solid. One is a Monster Reborn. Unfortunately, you can't get link monsters because they can't be in defense mode, but getting a Monster Reborn in defense I think is definitely pretty good, especially when that monster can still activate all of its effects and it can be used for whatever you want. If you banish all dark monsters, you get to take a card out of your opponent's hand. It shuffles it into the deck instead of discarding it, which is obviously pretty good. And then blowing up 2 cards on the field is fantastic. I look at this card and it fits in so many different decks. People have been talking about how you can play this on Lightsworn, you can play this in a new version of like Chaos Dragons. You can absolutely play this in a deck like Element Sabers because they have the ability to change their attribute at will in the graveyard. So even if you have like, I don't know, wind, fire, and earth monsters in the graveyard, like those are the Element Sabers you have, it doesn't matter. You can just turn them into light and dark and then you can activate the effect. And the reason why I really like this card in Blue Eyes is especially because in Blue Eyes you're used to summoning a big boss monster, blowing up a card in your opponent's side of the field and not being able to attack because I just described Alternative Dragon. This card does the same thing. However, if you do banish a light and dark, you get to blow up twice as many cards as Alternative Dragon, so it basically works the same exact way. In addition to that, Alternative can only blow up monsters. This card can blow up spells and traps, and if for some reason you ever wanted to blow up your own spells and traps, that would obviously work too because this card can target your own cards. I think that this card is freaking fantastic on every level. I could see so many decks like Blue Eyes and Element Sabers and Lightsworn and Chaos Sworn and just various decks, I could see them getting a colossal boost by this card because it just seems so good. And you can actually, it's not a complete Nami card either. That means that if you special summon it of its own effect and it does die, you can still Monster Reborn it back from the graveyard, and it's a 3000 beater. So I think that this card is so good, and I think that it's so splashable in decks. I could really see this card making decks like Blue Eyes and Element Sabers maybe go up like half a tier, because sometimes when I play Element Sabers, it's kind of hard to drop the Elemental Lords, especially like turn 1 is really difficult. You could definitely drop this turn 1 in Element Sabers. Like, all you got to do is get 3 monsters in the graveyard. If you summon Willard with the field spell, that's 2 monsters already, so it's not really that difficult to drop this guy, especially going second, blowing up 2 cards on your opponent's side of the field. I love everything about this card, and I'm hoping that it's going to be a secret rare. I'm expecting it's going to be a secret rare because it's an ultra rare in the OCG. And I feel like Konami hit this out of the park. If they're trying to bring back kind of like chaosy themed decks, then this is absolutely the way to do it. In fact, I actually forgot to mention Metaphys. I'm sure somebody is screaming their lungs out. Kev G, how could you not talk about Metaphys? They love to be banished, and the entire archetype is light. I think the archetype is light. Most of the cards are light, but you know, that would obviously be another archetype that this card has strong synergy with. I just like the fact, my favorite part of this card is the fact that you don't have to banish a light and a dark. You can banish all darks or all lights if you want, and you still get a big ass dragon monster that has a really good effect the second that it hits the board. But if you happen to banish a light and a dark, then you get the really great effect of being able to blow up 2 cards immediately. This card is just good from like every single angle, and I think you're going to see this splashed in a whole bunch of decks. So whatever you guys think of Livonia, the Primordial Chaos Dragon, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.